Assalamu alaikum. So the lesson today is about polynomial. So we are going to have an introduction about polynomial and learn uh, uh, historical introduction about polynomial. So first let's define what does mean sentence in mathematics. So sentence is a mathematical statement like equations, proposition. So those are called sentence. So a sentence is a mathematical statement. So like equation, proposition. So example. So equation, proposition. So those are sentences. And there are two types of sentence. So sentence can be either in word, for example, let me give you an example. A number added to 2, for example, or twice a number added to 5, for example, twice a number added 5. So this is a sentence in word, or uh, we have a symbolic sentence. Of mathematical. So let's give you an example. 2 plus 5, 3x minus 9. Uh, Symbolic sentence. So now the second term I want to talk about is so an expression is any symbolic sentence. Any symbolic sentence is an expression. So any symbolic sentence is an expression. Let me write it down in red. So you already have an idea. So let me give you an example. So those are called expression like 2 plus 5, 3x, uh, 4 times 9, 15 divided by 3, 4x squared minus 3xy, and so on. So those are called expression because they are symbolic sentence. So we don't use any more symbolic sentence. We just use the word expression. So, and there are two types of expressions. So there are two types of expression. So the first type is called the numerical expression, which is an expression composed of number and operators. Sometimes parentheses, sometimes we use parentheses, but most of the time we use number and operators. So our expression composed of or made of composed of numbers and operators. Operators I mean by addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are the operators. So I use this example. So for example, like square minus 16 divided by 8 and so on. So the second type is algebraic expression of variable, number, and operators. So our expressions composed of variables, and I hope everyone knows what is a variable, numbers, and operators, which mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So this is about algebraic expressions. So let me give you an example about algebraic expression. So for example, 3x squared, 4x cubed plus 2y squared, 7xy cubed, 2z plus 4y minus 7x, and so on. So those are examples of algebraic expression. So our main concern is about algebraic expressions, so we're going to focus more on algebraic expression now. So let's talk about the property of algebraic expressions. So algebraic expression properties. All right, the first properties is the parts of algebraic expression are, which is separated by addition and subtraction, are called terms. So those part or components. So you want to use component or part. So the component of an algebraic expression terms. Uh, sign or subtraction are called terms. Uh, the expression. So, but separate called terms. If you have expressions, for example, 7x cubed. So this is a term. This one is terms with the sign, and this one is terms. It's separated by a sign, addition, or subtraction. So we call it terms. So this is each, and the degree of the term is the sum of the x power, the power. So, and the degree of 7 is 0 because of 0. So here, the degree of that term is 5, 0. So each term algebraic expression has degree. So this is the second for each term of an algebraic expression has a degree. And the degree of the term of a term is the sum of the exponents of its power. The sum of the exponent of its powers. And we use this notation for degree. So sign here we put the terms. So the degree of the terms. For example, so we have an expression 4x squared y plus 5x cubed plus 7x minus 9. So the degree of 4x squared y is the sum of the exponent. If I have no number here, that means it's 1. So it's going to be 2 plus 1 because the degree of 4 is always 0, so which is 3. So the degree of 5x cubed is, I have only one exponent, so it's going to, so this is the second property. So the third property, the degree of any number, no, this is for every number, so n, so the degree of n is 0. Whatever the number is, the degree of 1 million is 0. Any number has uh, 0 degree. And the property, so the next one, the degree of an algebraic expression is the degree of its highest terms. So you check the term of each You check the degree of each terms and you pick the highest. So the highest of those degree is going to be the degree of the whole expression. So the degree of an algebraic expression is the degree of its highest terms. For example, suppose I want to find out the degree of that expression 4x squared y plus 3xz cubed uh, plus 5x minus 9. So I'm going to find out the degree of each term. So the degree of that one is 2 plus 1, which is 3. The degree of that one is 1 plus 3, which is 4. The degree of that one is just 1, so it's 1. And the degree of the number is 0, is 0. So I'm going to pick the highest. The highest is 4, so the degree here will be 4. So this is uh, the fourth property. So the fifth property is one term's algebraic expression is called monomial. So if I have only one term in algebraic expression, so it has a name, it's called monomial. So one term algebraic monomial. So those are monomial. Any variable monomial. So those are terms. So those are the example of monomial. So if I have two terms, algebraic expression is called binomial. So two terms algebraic expression is called binomial. So those are examples of binomial. For example, uh, 2x plus 5, uh, 7x minus 9, 3x squared plus 4y cubed, 7xy minus 3zt. So those are example of binomial. As long as I have two terms, it's a binomial. So the three terms, if I have three terms, is called trinomial. So 3 here is S. Three terms algebraic expression is called trinomial. So example of trinomial. So let's see, give you an example. So so 4x squared plus 3x minus 9 3xz plus 4zy uh, minus 5yx. So those are example of trinomial. If I have four terms and more, so we call it then polynomial. So four or more terms, algebraic expression. Example, example like 4x fifth plus square minus 3x cube plus 2x1. So this is an example of a polynomial. So uh, polynomial with more than one variable. So the one variable polynomial we call them one variable just polynomial. We'll call it multivariable polynomial. So you have to make the distinction between expression one variable polynomial. And if it's one variable, so we call it multi-variable. So, but let me give an example of one variable polynomial. So you have 3x squared minus 5x plus 8, 4x cubed plus 9. So those are example of one variable polynomial or just polynomial. So if it has more than two variables, so two more variable polynomial for two or more variable algebraic expression. So two or more variable algebraic expression is called multivariable polynomial. And let me give it a multivariable polynomial. So like the equation of the circle. So example, our plane. So for example, 7x squared plus 2y, 3x plus 2y minus 5z, and 4x minus 7y, 3x squared minus 5y squared, and so on. So those are example of multivariable polynomial. So the next property is the notation of the polynomial. So there is a notation which is called the standard notation. So you need to know what is the standard notation. So standard polynomial. So the standard notation of a polynomial. I'm talking here about one variable polynomial, as we always put p, a and of the nth power or nth exponent. So this is S1. Those an I just remembered different than 0 or equal to 0. It can be positive or it can be negative. It can be any real number. So we always go in from the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. 0. So this is the constant. So like I say, a and 0 and they are called coefficient of polynomial. Coefficient of the polynomial. And like I say, and refer to the degree of the polynomial. So for example, degree 44 minus 7x plus 4. You see here I skip x squared. So which means that I already have x squared here, but the coefficient of x squared is 0, so I don't need to put it down. So it's like I'm having 3x cubed plus 0x squared minus 7x. So we don't need to put 0x squared because 0 times anything is 0. So this is skipped because it's not necessary to put it down. But you have to keep in mind that if we skip any power, doesn't mean the coefficient of that power is 0. If we skip any power, the coefficient of the power is always 0. So this is what you need to keep in mind. So the next property is about homogeneous. So a polynomial is called homogeneous if all its terms, if the degree of its terms are equal each other. So a polynomial is called homogeneous if all its terms have same degree. So most of the time this work for multivariable polynomial, like for example 4x squared y plus 3x cubed minus 5y cubed. So the degree of this one is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3. The degree of that term is 3, the degree of that term is 3. So when we have all the terms have the same degree, so we call that polynomial homogeneous. So if one of the degree is different than the rest, so it's not homogeneous. So that's the this is the property if the terms does not have the same degree. So the polynomial is called not homogeneous if these terms have the of its terms have this thing. So that polynomial is not homogeneous. For example, q to the power 4. So that terms have degree 3, terms have degree 4, and that has degree 4, not homogeneous. So this is about the homogeneous property. The next property is about the relation of the highest degree. So of the highest degree terms. So when you heard leading coefficient, that means the coefficient of the highest degree terms. So the leading coefficient means the coefficient of the highest degree term. For example, I will give you two examples. By the way, 0 can never be leading coefficient, so keep in mind that. So and this is 8x5 plus 3x squared minus 1. So the leading coefficient here is 8, so the leading coefficient is 8 because it's the coefficient of the highest power. If you have, for example, x to the 4 minus 7x cubed plus 9x plus 1, for example, here I have no coefficient, but in fact we have one. It's 1 because 1 times any number is the number itself. So you have to understand. This is what most of the people they don't see. And for example, here, like I told you earlier, if you don't see a power, that means the coefficient of the power is 0. If you don't see a coefficient, that means 1 is the coefficient. So that's what you need to do. What you need to keep in mind. So the leading coefficient is 1. So the last property I want to talk is the zero polynomial. So of the polynomial value of the polynomial become 0. So this value is 0 polynomial. So 0 of is a number. One, substitute the variable of the binomial the value of the binomial becomes 0. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a simple example. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So we'll say what is the polynomial of p to x. Why? If I choose p to 1, doesn't mean I substitute x by 1. I will have 2 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 3, which is equal to, which is out. So I just want to give you an idea about polynomial. So you got and thank you for watching the video, and please, if you want, that will help me improve my way of teaching, please do so. Thank you very much for watching my video.